Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to the organizer, the Community Social Work Practice and Development Foundation, and the Book Council of Social Welfare. Well, for this opportunity to present my work, my theme is how do indigenous communities contribute to sustainable development and the role of the social worker in the process. Well, this is me. My name is Carolina Cárdenas. I'm social worker, cultural manager, and human resource specialist, also master and master in cultural management. I am studying at the Spanish Institute of Clinical Social Work, and I have more than 15 years of experience in public and sector companies. Well, we'll start with the team. The United Nations declared the rights of indigenous people in 2007. No? Here, the countries approved the resolution to protect the indigenous rights. As we've seen in all the world, we have approximately 370 million of indigenous people in more than 90 countries, 5,000 indigenous towns, and speak 4,000 languages. You see in America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Oceania have indigenous communities. At least 5% of the population, the world population is indigenous, and 15% is in poverty conditions. What is happening? Right now, you can see the planet over here, no? The picture about the planet was more nature, and later, little by little, it's getting dry, you see? We are now in these conditions. And what about the deforestations? Also, more than 10 countries lost their forest, and 5 of them are in Latin America. You see the picture in the countries that are in green are recovering areas, and in red are losing areas. In this statistic, we see in the world how the global forest loss, deforestation versus forest degradations. No? At least in the tropical regions, we see, and even in the other continents, no, are different. For example, in Latin America, most of our forests is because deforestation, shifting agriculture, forestry products, also wildfires, no? And the others are different. They have more wildfires on these areas than here, no? Here, all the trees are devastated because they cut the trees, and agriculture are mining also. The current problems are illegal logging, palm oil production, cattle ranching, road construction, forest fires, illegal mining, and others which seriously threaten the forest, putting at risk the survival of unique species and the continuum on indigenous communities. Most of them in Latin America, we still have areas that are suffering this problematic, and it is increasing year by year. For example, if in the illegal minery, if it happened in an area of the jungle, the earth could not continue producing anything. They just the earth died in this part. And the indigenous people cannot be seen independently of their land, but as a whole, they are part of the cultural age. They are connected with nature. They are part of it. What happened with the impact of these problematics that we see? The many communities have to leave their land. They have to move to other areas for continue living, and they have to lose the tradition, their identity, no, because this moment, no. But if they are the only one who protect this part of the territory, who preserve all the traditions. So yeah, as you see, the Mrs. who is design a jar, no, with a typical design of this area. No, each culture has these different characteristics of each culture, and the way how they preserve and transmit their knowledge is just doing this kind of things, no, ceramic or dressing or many other things. So the indigenous people, and what is the relation with the sustainable development? The indigenous communities conserve the nature. Indigenous people conserve soil, reduce erosion, conserve water, and reduce disaster risk. In the fields, indigenous pastoralist communities manage livestock raising and crop is sustainable so that grassland retain their biodiversity. They conserve water. So the indigenous community protect the earth in their way, right? In this way, they contribute to the sustainable development. So we have these categories, these objectives, but I think that we could, in order to preserve the community indigenous, should be a new SDG as indigenous community, because it's an old. You cannot separate the earth of the water of themselves, because everything is unique. So it's important to protect them, because they are our future. If not, we cannot continue preserving many cultures. The global definition in our career of social work um, include indigenous knowledge as part of their definition, as you see, and the policy of the federation supports the principles of the draft of the United Nations on the Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous People. Also, this part of the Agenda 2030, no, the indigenous community, as we saw, promotes sustainable inclusion and sustainable economic growth, making cities and human settings inclusive, that take urgent steps to combat climate change and its impact. Because if we preserve the forests, we are contributing to the work reducing the global warming. So the objective of this research is identify the measures that social workers can adopt to contribute to the empowerment of indigenous communities so that they in turn can contribute to their sustainable development. Justification. Through this research, we will analyze the various documents given by UNESCO, the Federation about Social Work and Indigenous Community. Through this study, we will make known the problems indigenous communities have and the heritage that surrounds them, such as forests. We have various causes and impact, such as global warming. Given this situation, we will make known the measures that social workers can implement to alleviate somewhat reduce this problem. Our hypothesis The measures that social workers can contribute in a positive way to solve the problems of indigenous communities are recognition of their civil rights, guidance to contribute to their economy, emotional support and assistance, promotion of culture in children. The various purpose is for this research were measure social workers and the problems of indigenous communities. The research deals with the measures to be adopted by social workers in the improvement of the problems of the indigenous community based on the guidelines of UNESCO, International Federation of Social Workers, that allow the participation, appreciation, respect of the communities and their culture. Well, we already did say that, and the research was described explanatory observation of people was used with survey visit interviews. Guidance to contribute to their economy. Promoting the creation of business based on the art and culture of their places of origin will have a direct impact on the economy of the community. Already, we have communities that are doing companies in the jungle and preserve their culture and also exports to other countries. So it is a way to contribute to their economy. At first, I know always is very difficult to do a creative company, but our country give support to people for a good program for creation of companies, not only for social work, for community, for everybody, for the just people. Guidance to contribute to their economy. The promotion of internal routes that involve knowledge of indigenous community and forests by promoting community-based cultural tourism will generate incomes for indigenous community based on appreciation and respect for their culture and environment. Actually, in Latin America, we have tourists. We have special routes for people who could travel, and in this way, the communities have could generate incomes for their families. Sometimes it is reducing because of some fires we had a few months ago that covered the area, and the people had to lose, even the houses, in all this system that has been created. We lost, because some of these troubles. Recognition of their civil rights. That is very important that they know their rights, because it's the way they could preserve their first the land, and second respect the right of their land, and even many people also is tricky for some people who likes to buy their land, and if they don't sell, just they something happened, some people sometimes hurt indigenous, and some of them are killed if they protest or talk about their rights. Well, the community approach also involves promoting the self-determination and autonomy of indigenous communities. The social worker can be an advocate for indigenous rights. For last year in our country, for example, the Congress gave a law against under the for the community without consultation, which is part of the law, and still the communities are doing some paperwork for stop this law. So well, we already have a lot of troubles, and now we have another one more, and it's part of the on Congress, which is incredible. Emotional support and assistance. The social workers could make strategies to build a relationship of trust with the communities. Intervention models that combine clinical social work and indigenous knowledge. The social worker plays a fundamental role as an agent of change, a promoter of the well-being of the communities. The promotion of art and culture for children, the transmission of ancestral knowledge and worldwide from childhood allows identity not to be lost knowledge, to be transmitted through their paintings, sculptures, music, dance, and narratives capturing the sense of biodiversity. Here is a workshop we had with some children in the jungle area. This is other project we had in the jungle with some woman of mental health center in the Peruvian jungle about the art therapy, and we see how we had good results. No, this research was both qualitative and quantitative, observational and participatory. Field worldwide with research visits, interviews, and participation in an art therapy office with a gender approach, guiding the participants to learn so that they could express their emotions and feelings through painting. The art therapy intervention allowed the group to recognize their identity, their cultural value, their emotional development, and the positive improvement of their personality. So they had some psychosocial troubles. So in this workshop, they try to throw all this stress. And so it was just a moment that they could feel free and they feel happy, as you see. And we had that good experience with this group of women. So it's essential to establish networks, agreements, and alliances with actors on the ground, NGOs, government institutions, academics, and other professionals to work together in the search for comprehensive and sustainable solutions. Recommendations. Inclusion in the educational curricula for training children, youth, and university students of a mandatory course on indigenous populations and their relationship with the ecosystem and its corresponding pre-professional or professional practice. In the case of universities in the communities, with training in classrooms with teachers who transmit this commitment and awareness of social reality. Strengthening research and social programs of indigenous peoples in university research centers with a multidisciplinary team. Community strengthening of indigenous populations in the recognition of their citizen rights. Managing and participating in sectorial meetings in order to intervene in the improvement of socioeconomic, health, environmental, and cultural policy for the indigenous population. Multidisciplinary health projects so that they have water, electricity, renewable energy, and sewage. Projects to improve the well-being of children, women, and the elderly of indigenous populations, mainly in the area of health and education. Sustainable business niche projects that are environmentally and population friendly in order to generate income. An alternative solution will be to declare indigenous communities and their territory as World Heritage, as humanity. I think this is a good way to preserve our cultural and natural patrimony with the indigenous communities principle, the center. So I can here some reference, the International Convention on Natural Heritage and Indigenous People also. Well, thank you so much for hearing me this day. And here, this is my web page, and we are in YouTube channel too. We have our little project museum, virtual still. I have some little. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Carolina, for that wonderful presentation on indigenous communities, on sustainable development and role of social worker. It was very interesting to listen to you on the various challenges of the indigenous population and what can be the role of social worker and your intervention of your research study. So thank you very much for your wonderful presentation.